At the end of last episode, I said there'd be a transfer special. It's special in a way. Run the intro.
3, 2, 1, go!
Hello folks and welcome back to the Ispalian Job with me, Dr. Vinci FM, and the Champions League draw will be happening today, the transfer reveals will be happening today, and I'm going to just be honest with you now, there's no real need for best sports news, because the transfer window, turns out with less than 10 million in the Champions League, quite difficult to improve things. Let's focus on the outs. Robinho has left on a free transfer, and Kulu's gone to Ajax for 1.5 million. Slaughter Pellegrini's left to Almeida for 1.5 million. Philip Caffrey, you might remember Philip Caffrey, he was the Irish chap that came in, and he's now out on loan. He could be good one day, it's just getting, I should have played him more last season really. The boy goes to Stade after a year of injury. I've replaced him with better players essentially, and Kansengui Loa has gone to Eibar for 105,000 as well. So that meant 4 million was brought in. Add that to the money we already had, and you still get a pittance. Let's start though with some good news and the return of Ruben Diaz. You know I mentioned the 4 loanees. Well, one of them has returned. Ruben Diaz is that man from Monaco for a year as well. He's had his previous 2 years at us, and previous year at us, and he's back one more time, and I'm very excited to have him. Actually, no, this is his 3rd year. My apologies, this is his 3rd year back. I'm getting very confused. And I'm hoping and expecting him to be very good. A 7.6 last season. He came in, of course, at the back end of the year in the January, and he returns again, and boy, am I pleased to see him. And the defensive acquisitions didn't stop there. The only player, this is going to make some people sad, the only player I've spent money on is this guy, Simone Sinni. A lot of criticism about Agostini at left back, so I've brought someone in who's not a world beater, but will come in, cheap deal, back up for Barloco. There he is, Sinni. And the defensive acquisitions don't stop there. We are unable to get Pereira back. I think he went to Hoffenheim in the end. Wasn't available on loan for the entire transfer window. Final week of the transfer window, became available. I'd already made my move. Trent Alexander-Arnold on loan from Liverpool. I've got to say, he had a decent-ish time at Norwich last year. Premier League quality defender. And I've got to say, when you look at all of his attributes, marking, tackling, good crossing as well, physically fantastic, mentally very good. 22 years of age. Of course, takes up another quota for the foreign player rule, but comes in. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I am delighted. And let's go to another loan then. We've gone to Portugal. You remember Alfonso Sousa last year? Well, I've brought in a couple of players to try and fill that gap. He has now become a very much first-choice player for Porto, so there was no chance of me getting him back. But luckily for me, Miguel Luis has come in. Loney as a central midfield, attacking playmaker. Just what we're looking for. Very similar to Alfonso Sousa, so can play in that midfield role. Mentally very good. Physically has got some nice attributes. Technically very good as well. If we can increase some of his passing, maybe first touch stats over the course of the year, I think he'd be a fantastic player for us throughout the season. So I'm excited to bring him from Sporting, by the way. And while we're talking about Portuguese central midfielders, Diego Bastia has come in as well. It's a loan signing. I'm happy with it though. From Benfica, dribbling's good, first touch is good, runs through the ball with the centre. This is the guy I think is most similar to Sousa. Of course, he was so good for me last year. I raved about him last season. I think Batista might be the best guy. And now 2 strikers to tell you about. The first, Brian Brunette. I love it. He's come in. I'm going to reveal now that Emmanuel Renzi is now Inter's 3rd most expensive player. The chance of him getting him back on loan won't be happening. Sign him. No, we can't. But we have replaced him with 2 strikers. Brunette, the first one of those. Very pacey, good finisher, left-footed. Might be the perfect sort of player to play with Dorian, you know, could be. We'll see. Look, Renzi was a bit of a gamble when we first signed him. Turned into a world beater. 2.5-star current ability with bags of potential from Lyon. I like the look of him. And French as well, much like another player we had once before. And in case it doesn't work out with him, we've brought in Sebastian Spera from Juventus. Surprisingly, they've allowed me to have one of their loanees. 16 mentals. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? He's got 16 mentals. There we go then. Very, very fast. Decent strength as well on him for a 5'10" player. Okay finishing. It's going to be the kind of player you bring off the bench if you need a goal late doors, not someone that's going to start. I think the chances are it'll be Dorian Heiser and it'll be the brunette, the beautiful brunette, the bombshell, as I'm going to call him. So that was all the loanees. Let's start now with some of the free transfers, 3 of which have come in. The first of which will be a name familiar to many of you, Stephen Jovetic. Now, of course, has been around a little bit. Has spent some time at Inter as well as Manchester City, Fiorentina. He's been around the block, it's fair to say. And I've brought him in as sort of, we don't have a lot of experience. Danny Graham is still around, I think. But Robinho retiring, I wanted to bring someone in with a bit more experience, Champions League quality player as well. He comes in, 3.5 star current ability. He's got a bit about him. Essentially, we couldn't get someone like Seri back, so I think Jovetic is the perfect replacement for a guy like him 2 years after we sold Seri. The next one, I mean, this is quite exciting. In a way, 34-year-old Cesc Fabregas, 3-star current ability. That's probably going to be his maximum for now. But we're talking about these creative midfielders, right? And you'll notice I've brought a lot of them in. Last year, I felt like if Sousa got injured, I was going to be in all sorts of pain. With the Champions League now teamed up with the league form as well, we had to bring someone in that has done it all, has won everything in the game. That man is Cesc Fabregas. So I'm very pleased to bring him in. Mentally superb. His technical attributes, you could go on about them all day. Dictates tempo, plays 1-2s, comes deep to get the ball, tries to kill a ball often. All things that I think my strikers will really, really enjoy. So Cesc Fabregas can play in that more advanced area if needs be, but will probably play in the centre of the midfield, and I love that he's here. Not as quick as he used to be, but everything else is superb. And finally then, Lucas Toussaint. That's right, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, 24 years of age. Can play as a centre-back, can play as a defensive midfielder, and can also play at the central midfield spot as well, and will probably replace Toscano in our side this season. We may well play a game today. I think we will play a game against Juventus today, and he will be starting in that system as the deep line playmaker. Great passing, good marking, tackling's also very good. Mentally superb, and his physicals are something to rave about as well. I genuinely think if you're sort of a lower sort of mid-table side, I'd say mid-table side, if you're a mid-table side in any division, this is the kind of guy you could bring in. But got to be honest, not someone I was massively familiar with before this, and has been around a little bit. Leon moved to Southampton, and after not really playing all that much for them, I've brought him in for a relatively cheap free transfer, as you think you could probably agree. So I think for a free transfer, pretty good. And there we have it then. That is our transfer business. There's going to be criticism. I understand there'll be some criticism. I asked for more money. They didn't give me any. I asked for more wage budget. They didn't give me any. I have 33 million sitting in the balance. We got some money for being in the Champions League group stages, which is coming just in a moment. We have 4.4 million left to spend. And the reality of it is, I don't think 4.4 million improves any position to the point where I'll feel like, there we are, we're a much better side. The deals I've done, the loanees and the free transfers, I feel like we're the best bet at improving us. I'm not going to spend the money you've got just because it's there. I'll wait till the January, maybe bring in some extra loans or something like that. But it's not enough money. And I know we're in the Champions League and I'm expected to get absolutely tortured in it. But that's just the way it is. Anyway, transfer window nearly shut. There's a few more days left. We play Juventus today. But first of all, let's go to the Champions League draw. Now, I do believe, if not mistaken, it is happening... Is it actually? I think it's literally is today. Okay, there's players, of course, I've got in for over the summer that I've not been able to get. Renzi was someone I pursued, tried to create a saga. Inter just didn't care. Neither did Renzi, apparently. Interested about Renzi. His favourite clubs are now Spal and Parma, so job done. Right then, here is the draw for the Champions League. We are the lowest rated team in the Champions League draw. Brilliant. So we're going to get a really difficult group. We'll go through the first 3 pots pretty quickly, and we'll see which ones we'd like to endure. The chances are we obviously can't go. No, not the chances are. The reality is we can't go in a group with an Italian team in it. So the first group we can't go into. Monaco, Inter, Sevilla will be joined by Copenhagen, Porto. That would be so, wouldn't it? Real Madrid, Fenerbahce get. It's always Real Madrid. I always end up playing Real Madrid. Okay then, draw the rest. It's Real Madrid, it's Porto, and it's... I don't even remember the last team. Who was it? Fenerbahce. There he is, look, Alfonso Sousa. You can kind of see why we didn't get him back. I imagine Real Madrid are still pretty good. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo is now 36. Not as good as he once was. Still getting my team, I bet. I reckon he'd still get in my team. They've only spent 173 million this summer of Real. So, what about the year before that? 192 million. Year before that? 3 million. There we are. Now we're friends. Year before that, 100 million. Year before that, 152 million. So they're decent. I think we can take that away from it. They are decent. Just looking at the players that don't get in their side. Sané, Paslak, not even on the bench. Brilliant. And they've got the best young goalkeeper I think I've ever seen on Football Manager. 20 years of age, Polish guy. Obscenely good. Right then, pre-season, as you can see there, has gone extraordinarily well. We've not played anybody good, but we kick things off today against Juventus. Actually, not quite today, the 28th. Handled a tough group, interestingly, and also another defensive arrival. Oh, you thought it was done. Papadopoulos. Look, He might not be all there technically, but he's good where it matters, and we're going to bring him in. Kyriakos Papadopoulos, that's the one. Bring him in. 1.4, 2 million deducted, spent money, get him in. So that's the business. That's the business being done. Spent 4 million, got 4 million, got 2.4 left over. What would you have done? I'm going to say we've got a great chance of getting through. So there we go. Lovely. This is a longer press conference than I anticipated. Right then, Juventus today. This should be... I don't know what's going to happen. They're really good. So I've got an idea. Just realised that the scenes mug is in Juve colours. So I don't know how I feel about that, really. Liverpool make bid for Pozovec. Now, when I literally can't bring in another goalkeeper. No, obviously not. And then we're going to bring in for the million that they offered me. Now, last season, we were very... Oh, hang on. Dorian's unhappy. You've all noticed it. He wants to move to a bigger club. The asking price, I've set at 200 million. He's not happy about that either. Essentially, he's not going anywhere. He signed a deal with me, 2025. I'll just wait until the transfer window's over, and he'll go, I'd like to not be on the transfer list, and I'll say yes, and that'll be it. That's what I'm hoping happens. In terms of system and team, we are keeping the exact same system as last year. I'm just intrigued to see if the players that we've got make it work as well. Juventus is probably not the best tester of that, but Pozovec will be in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Diaz, Casola, and Cini comes in because Barloco is suspended for this one. I've just noticed that Papadopoulos isn't registered. I'll sort that out in a minute, but he wouldn't start. Doesn't matter. Toussaint plays in front. Obviously, he replaces Toscano. Batista, Luca plays to the left of him. Yosu, Heisa, and Brunet go up front. It's Herbs and Bombshell. Not the same, is it? A Brunet Herb? A brown Herb? Hang on, can I actually register him? Okay. Been there before. Okay, let's see how we get on. Instruction-wise, I mean, the people will be interested. We're playing this is exactly what we played last year and finished second. Now, personnel is different. Fitness-wise, a bit of a concern on a couple of players, but I still think we can at least lose 1-0 to Juve. So be positive. Cini needs a number. There is a temptation to call him Cini World. I'm slow. I'm not doing that quite yet. If he scores a worldie, at that point, Cini World. Remember that. Okay, Juve big favourites for the game. Higuain, John Guidetti. Well, wasn't expecting that. Christian Eriksen's there. Carvalho, Pjanic, Rakitic. Hang on, who have they bought this summer? I'm interested. Guidetti came in. Actually, that was it, really. Oh, no, Guidetti. Oh, yeah, this young Italian lad. Tried to get him in, obviously, but couldn't because money. Tried to loan him. Then Juve just bought him. So. We'll say Juve did come after Dorian as well. 25 million, but no. No. Come on, lads, show everyone what you can do. It's a new season, a new beginning, and I don't know what the expectation... Where are we expected to finish? Sorry, this is a mess. We are predicted to finish 10th. That's probably the same odds as last year. That's probably fair enough. Eriksen free kick. It's the post. A good start. Right, come on then, boys. Let's at least put up a bit of a fight. We're playing attacking away at Juventus. John Guidetti on it, and it's 1-0 Juventus. Welcome to a new season, Ben. This might be tougher than I'd hoped. You can see they work it relatively nicely. It's Carvalho plays it into Guidetti, who I would have slagged off earlier. Pozovec's goalkeeping's questionable, but it's 1-0. Probably come off attacking, Ben. Probably go standard with your Juve mug. That's not making anyone feel better. Now, to say I'm a little bit nervous about this season is an understatement. The Champions League is going to be a chatlet. Ignore that. This season's going to be very different to last season. Last season, I feel at least, was an anomaly. If we get into the top 4 again this season, I will be very surprised. If we get in the top 10 this season, I'll be a little bit shocked. Last season was unexplainable. It was magic. It'll be remembered for a long time. This season probably won't be like that. And you might think, Ben, stop being so negative. Tell us you're going to win the title. We're not going to win the title. I'm going to say I'm not happy with the performance. You were awful out there. Pick it up. I mean, Brunet's had a shocker. Jovetic can come on because he's actually played in this division before. Essentially, this season's going to be difficult. I mean, I don't know if I've made that obvious so far from what I've said, but this season's going to be difficult. New intake of players. There's a bit of familiarity, not a lot of it. We're not starting off in the easiest fashion against the Juventus side that won the league last year. I'm going to be... Shall I predict now? 7th. I think we'll finish 7th. That's bold, though. I still feel like that's bold. And the reason I say that is because had last year not happened, that's where I think we'd be about. 6th, 7th. That's where I think we'd be had last year not happened. Last year has happened. We're in the Champions League. Guidetti hat-trick. I wish I hadn't said anything at the start about him. It's just annoying, isn't it? Because it makes us look rubbish because we're at the bottom. But it's still Juve. Like, it's a good ball. Like, my best defender, my best right back, they've loaned out again. That's what annoys me about it. Right, do we make Fabregas, maybe? I mean, this is going to be a theme, isn't it, throughout this series? Just, if in doubt, just bring Fabregas on, Ben. That'll fix everything. Toscano's sitting there thinking, I mean, there'll be a moment, Ben, when you'll realise that I should be playing. Probably. We're not at full strength either. No Barloco, forgot about that. No Renzi either. Or Sousa. So, these things happen. They're going forward. He got the most interceptions last season. He's actually scored an own goal there. So, less of an interception. More of a... I guess it goes out as a mistake. The ball's played in and it hits Casola. It's a smart finish, to be fair. It's a smart finish. 4-0. 4-0. Is it about to be 5-0? Right, we've not seen... It's not been our greatest performance ever. I'm not going to lie. Part of me went into this game thinking, you know what, we can upset the apple cart early. Beat Juve. I will say, if it comes down to a head-to-head between us and Juve next season, or at the end of the season, I should say, they've got an advantage. But we play them again, so it's not over yet as Pozovec gets the ball into his hands. We had more possession. We had a lot more kickoffs as well. That brings us to the end. Juve 4, Spal 0. It's going to be difficult this year, isn't it? It's going to be really difficult. In fact, I want predictions from you in the comments section. Where do you think we'll finish? And a reason as to why as well. And if the reason is your transfers are shit, I will resent that. But let me know, comment section, get involved. I'll be honest now, folks, not expecting to make any big transfer moves at the back end of the season. Can I ask for more money again? Should we just try that? No, can't ask for any more. Can't. Only get 80% of the transfer revenue, so good. Next episode, we will open our account with a game against Real Madrid. It may well be Pascal Calcio, who of course will be lots of problems. Actually, no, we got rid of that voodoo. We'll go Bologna. Real Madrid then, next episode with Bologna. Real Madrid next episode. Jesus Christ. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. It won't me feel better, frankly.